Alright, so after a full round of European fixtures, we are back to domestic action this weekend. We've got the Premier League, match day 11 of 38. Here are the 5 highlight games and I'm going to be paying special attention to this weekend, guys. So, without further ado, let's dive in. And we'll start with the Saturday lunchtime fixture, Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United. Clashes between these two sides are rarely dull, and these two sides are doing much better this season, of course. Last season, they were like, 17th and 16th? They were just outside of the relegation zone. In most seasons, they would have been relegated or at least threatened with relegation. However, both of them are doing a lot better. Spurs, of course, they were very lacklustre in the previous match day against Chelsea, but despite that, they're still in 6th. They're doing a decent job, and they're on equal points with their opponents on Saturday lunchtime, Manchester United, 17 points apiece so far. Man United are probably actually the form side in the Premier League at the moment. Tottenham, of course, playing in European football. Man United not. Man United's squad you'd expect to be a bit fresher as a result. I think Spurs overall are a slightly better team than Manchester United, but given the fact that Man United are in better form right now, given the fact their squad should be a bit more fresh, I'm going to go with a draw between these two sides. I'm going to go for Desmond 2-2 between these two teams. I think they will cancel each other out relatively, but I think there's also going to be goals as well. Their defence is on a long way from watertight, it's fair to say. Next, let's talk about one of the 3 o'clockers on Saturday, one of just 2. Man, it's soul-crushing seeing the lack of 3 o'clock games on a Saturday afternoon. Two sides that play in claret and blue and two sides that are in a relegation battle right now in the Premier League. That's why I'm highlighting them. West Ham United against Burnley. West Ham, oh my god, man, they have been abysmal so far this season, but they managed to get a big win last time out against Newcastle United. Burnley, their form has been a bit hit and miss, especially on the road, but they did manage to get an away victory against Wolves a couple of match days ago in their previous away day. So, with that in mind, how do I see this one going? Well, I want to see Burnley do well. I want to see the promoted side survive. But I look at this game and I look at the confidence boost that West Ham are going to get from winning against Newcastle. Even though Newcastle were terrible, they still managed to win against them. I think that boost in confidence is going to be the deciding factor here between these two sides. So I'm going to go over 2-1 victory to West Ham. It's going to be tight, it's going to be nervy, but I think overall, just with that in mind, I think that West Ham are going to get the better of them. West Ham will still be in the relegation zone, but they will be level with Burnley, who are in 17th, if that result stands. But it wouldn't surprise me if West Ham messed this up, because, like I say, West Ham this season have been abysmal. Next, let's talk about one of the Sunday games. Aston Villa against AFC Bournemouth. Bournemouth have been one of the surprise packages in the Premier League this season. They've been absolutely flying, although they were resoundingly beaten by Manchester City in the previous match day. Villa, meanwhile, have been doing really, really well on the whole. I mean, obviously, they lost to Liverpool in the previous match day, but if you take that result to one side, they've been flying. They've been getting so many victories, not only, of course, in the Premier League, but also in Europe as well, where they've been flying. It's Fortress Villa Park. They've had one loss at home in the last 25 games or something like that in all competitions. They are absolutely incredible at home. And I think that Bournemouth, the confidence is going to take a big hit from that Man City loss. And I think Villa right now have just got enough. Despite Bournemouth not playing in Europe, having some more time to rest, I just feel like Villa have got a bit more quality at the moment. I think they've got a bit more confidence about their squad. So I'm going to go with them to win. I'm going to go a tight game again. My favourite scoreline of 2-1. But I think Villa are just going to have enough in this one, to be honest. I mentioned a relegation 6-pointer earlier, and there's another one on Sunday. Nottingham Forest against Leeds United. Forest, of course, played in Europe in midweek, and they played pretty poorly, it must be said, against Sturm Graz, a poor side in Europe, where they drew 0-0 away from home. That being said, in the Premier League last time out, they managed to get a draw at home against Man United, which is not really a bad result if you think about it, to be honest with you. Leeds, meanwhile, they're doing all right. I mean, 3 losses in the last 4 games will concern them, but they are pretty good at home, although, of course, this is being played at the City Ground. And I think, again, that is going to be the deciding factor here. The fact that this is a home game for Nottingham Forest, I feel like the experience and the nous of Sean Dyche, and the fact that he's probably really laid into the players after that 0-0 draw with Graz in midweek, I think that's going to be the deciding factor. Of course, Forest have had to travel away in Europe in midweek. They will be a bit more tired as a result, but I'm going to go with Forest to win. I'm going to go with Forest to win. I'm going to go with them to win again. A narrow victory. Again, it is 2-1, my favourite scoreline. And the final game, the Sunday evening kickoff, Manchester City against Liverpool. This is going to be a great game. This is 2 of the top 3, second and third, going head to head. Arsenal are going to be watching this one very closely, of course, but both of these sides are a good way behind Arsenal. In fact, Arsenal can be 9 points clear of City and 10 points clear of Liverpool if they manage to win their game on Saturday against Sunderland. But how do I see these two sides going on? Well, Liverpool had been in really poor form for quite some time, but they're back now. They seem to be back anyway. Managed to get a victory against Real Madrid in the Champions League. They managed to get a win as well against Aston Villa in the previous match there. Of course, they always managed to win against Villa. Man City, though, they're flying as well. They beat Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, 4 wins in their previous 5 games. The only real blot on their copybook being, of course, against Aston Villa at Villa Park. As we've established, Villa are very good at Villa Park. This is being played at the Etihad Stadium. What's going to be the scoreline here? Well, I think it's going to be entertaining, but overall, I think Liverpool probably going to have the edge. But the fact that it's at the Etihad Stadium, I feel like I'm going to sit on the fence here, guys. It's nice and comfortable up here on this fence, and I'm going to go with another draw, 2-2. So I'm not predicting much between any of these sides in any of these games, really. Some really close victories and some really tight draws, of course, as well. But a lot of goals flying around. All the games have at least 3 goals, so I'm being positive in that regard at least. But yeah, those are my predictions for match day 11 of the Premier League season. Get your predictions in the comments below, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. As always, if you want to see more of this, have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today. And let's hope for a great round of Premier League action this weekend.